20 years ago, nobody knew Enfield existed also. Bullet was the thing. They've completely flipped the script.
The first generation Jawas, it was supposed to be that breaks Royal Enfield, but that bike unfortunately sucked.
The Honda guy sat and said, how do you make royal and not sound royal? So they called it the Highness.
The other bike is the Maverick, which is again the same engine.
The same engine that doesn't work and doesn't
But if anybody can pull it off, Hero Harley can pull it off.
The 400 Triumphs, I think, are bang for the buck.
It lacked a bit of a character.
The Hunter 350. Now it's like the best fit between a commuter and a lifestyle. The Honda Rebel is one. The only competition to a classic is a Goan Classic. Heman, so 20 years ago, Bullet was the real deal and Enfield was a small brand making it. Like nobody knew Enfield existed also. Bullet was the thing. And 20 years later now, Enfield is the thing and Bullet is a offering from it. And they've completely flipped the script.
So we know the reason why that is the case, because they came up with the classic 350 and the 500s, I think 15 years ago or whatever, 10, 15 years ago. And that just, increased the sales for them. So when I was in college and all, I could see like, let's say 10, 20 classics everywhere and then maybe one Bullet and maybe one Harley-Davidson. That's how it was during my college times. So that's how I think Enfield became a big name and the Bullet name slightly went down.
Yeah, I think the Classic laid the stepping stone for Enfield to finally become profitable and not die.
Yes.
But the good thing is, at least, I don't know if, of course, it's always a good thing. For 20 years, the Classic has ruled the roads. It's the bike to get when you're going to get a so-called lifestyle bike and not a commuter bike.
True.
But now, and there was no other option, right? There is one 350cc Classic or a 350cc Bullet, more or less the same motorcycle.
Yes.
But now you see all these other brands also realizing that potential and bringing in their offerings. Most of them have failed.
Yes, that is.
But some have worked. Let's talk about those motorcycles, the ones that are now alternatives to the Classic.
Yeah, okay. So I think the first motorcycle we should talk about is Honda CB 350 RS. So that came in, I think, 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So before the RS, they launched the Highness, which, I really don't want to talk about it because the name sucks.
Which it was basically the Honda guy sat and said, how do you make royal and not sound royal? So they called it the Highness.
Yeah, the stupid name.
So of course, from day one, they were very clear of what they are competing against. So say, I am competing against Royal Enfield.
Yeah, that's true. But the CB brand name is very popular. Like Honda CB, it's like a big thing. Again, the bike I think is great. It looks great. At least the RS version looks great. It's slightly modern looking. Maybe when you compare it to the Classic, it is a bit modern. But again, the same engine. Similar engine, sorry. It is the 350 engine, similar power ratios, everything. So that is what I think. What?
With Honda's reliability.
Yes. But I have one problem. So this is Honda trying to be Royal Enfield, if that makes sense.
Honda is not, and the good thing is Honda is not shied away from it.
Yes,
To say that what we are competing against, they've made it very clear from calling it a Highness. And the nice thing is that when they launched it 4 years ago and everybody made fun of them being a Highness and trying to become a copy brand, they stuck to their guns.
Yes,
and kept making small changes to finally realizing that, the CB 350 RS is what works.
Yeah. They did bring out 3 motorcycles. RS is the 3rd motorcycle. And now I think they've launched it outside India, in the UK and in the Europe. And apparently it's doing good. Everybody is, talking about it. It's a good entry motorcycle, at least for those guys, because they're used to big bikes. So this is a good entry motorcycle into that market where the new guys can buy it, or even guys who have big bikes, if they want a small, for them it's a commuter apparently, like a small commuter, this is the bike to go for. And also it has the 350cc engine, long stroke engine. So that's what I've heard people talk about.
It also sounds very nice. Like when one passes you by, you can really hear something distinct coming from that motorcycle.
Yes. It is louder than the Classic 350.
Plus, it also comes with, again, the Honda reliability that, while Enfields have become more reliable over the years, to really dethrone Honda from the fact that when you're buying a Honda, this bike is not going anywhere. And also that it will always feel right, work right, and just perform exactly the way you want it to.
Even though it's the same, I think the Honda performs slightly better. I really don't think I'll be able to find the difference, but all the actual journalists, they say there is a small difference.
All that's 2 bhp difference of what people can really garner like their Rossies.
So it's louder, a bit more powerful, and in fact gives better
Mileage. Yeah, any day. So I'll ask you a very weird question, but what would you pick up over the two motorcycles?
Okay, so that is a bit tricky. I think I would pick up the RS.
Even though you're a Mallu who's lived on Enfields, and if you're a Mallu, you live on Enfields, right?
Yeah, but thing is, again,
you'll get kicked out of Kerala.
No, I have a good excuse for this. So when I was getting my bike, I only had the Classic or the Bullet to get, and I got the Bullet. So I'm happy with my Bullet. I still have it. So now if you tell me which I'll get, I'll probably get the RS in that segment.
Oh, okay.
And if you go for the bigger one, I'll definitely go for something else. But
and then kicked out of your house because of you bought something rather than...
No, my dad actually likes Honda, so yeah.
Okay.
What is the next motorcycle that you think is?
I think while it's definitely more powerful and possibly slightly more pricier, the 400 Triumphs, the single cylinder Triumphs, are a good alternative when I'm stepping up into the lifestyle segment. That's also a motorcycle that I might look at, especially because it's, I'm this 25-year-old kid who's just getting into lifestyle motorcycles, and I need a bit of power and a better handling.
Okay.
And the 400 Triumphs, I think, are bang for the buck.
Yes, they look super premium. So out of the 400 singles, I've ridden the Scrambler. So I thought the bike looks great. It's pretty, the seating position is great. The handling is awesome. But I don't know. This is again, I rode it for a very small ride. Okay, handling was awesome. But somehow the bike didn't have it lacked a bit of a character. Like, let's say when you compare it to the Classic 350. Classic 350 is slower, but it has a bit. I don't know. That is the only thing I can say. The character was missing in that.
Is it too smooth for you?
It was too it was lightweight. That is why it was lightweight. The handling was amazing. I think one of the best handling small bikes. It's a big bike also. No, it's not just a small bike. It's a taller bike. Handling was great, but then it just went smooth. Again, smooth engine. So maybe that is what I mean by the character was lacking.
Plus also, I think the quality of the knobs and everything around,
everything is good.
It's so nice. I think, the finishing of whatever they've done, the little details is so spot on. It's so Triumph that it's such a good motorcycle to buy. But maybe, what's a motorcycle that doesn't break down and you can look cool while fixing it?
Which one is it?
That could be the Triumph, no? Because it's everything they've ticked the right boxes. And because everything is ticked on the right side.
Okay. Got it.
It might just be a motorcycle that does not appeal to some people.
Yeah. In terms of looks and all, of course, super cool looking. It actually kind of looks like the bigger Triumphs, the doubles, like let's say the Speed. Exactly, the Speed. Speed 900 or something. But again, like I told you, this is the only problem I had with the bike. Yeah, but it's a very good contender. Or an alternative for the 350 Classic.
Yeah, I think it's also a very, and it was about time that the Classic had a couple of competitions for people to choose from.
Yeah, and exactly.
That's where it's coming in, and all these nice brands that have started coming in and building their motorcycles. What else do you think?
So I have a motorcycle in mind. So it's actually the new Jawa 350. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't have too many thoughts on that motorcycle because it looks good, but I haven't seen many. When they launch with a lot of a lot of marketing exercise was put behind, but they didn't deliver the motorcycles. And now I'm not seeing too many people pick up the Java. I don't think I've seen the new classic, the 350 being picked up.
The Jawa 350. So the problem was, so the marketing thing is when they launched the 300 or 330, the first generation Javas, marketing was great. It was supposed to be that breaks Royal Enfield, but that bike unfortunately sucked.
Because also they didn't deliver the bikes.
There was a lot of delay, and even the bikes that came out
weren't the best.
But let's we should give them some props. They stuck to it. They've improved the engine. They have genuinely improved it. But the problem is because of that bad rep, now they really have to work hard to get out of it. So even though the bike is not 100%, but it's come a long way. It rides better now. A slightly bigger engine, more power. And of course, it has the Java looks, So my whole connection with Java is your old two-stroke Java. That is one of the best two-strokes I've ridden. So, that is how I got connected to Java. So that's how I thought maybe this new Java will be very cool. So they're trying to bring that, that feeling back. So let's hope they do it.
But no one's buying their bikes.
Yeah, no one else. But it's okay. It's a subsidiary of Mahindra, so they will, fix it.
Hopefully, and it doesn't go the Mojo route.
Exactly. But it's actually not the Mojo engine now. It's a pure 350.
No, but the route it's taken is the Mojo, like people have stopped buying it, is what I'm trying to
Oh, yeah.
Right? But, one motorcycle that I think is the biggest competition to the Classic is from Enfield, which is the Hunter 350.
Yes, the Hunter 350. So I remember Hunter came out, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. So that was supposed to be let's say, the entry-level bike in Royal Enfield. So it looks actually good. Even though it's a smaller motorcycle, the tires are all a bit small, but the bike apparently is everywhere. So because it's a smaller bike, I think it appeals to a lot of people. Shorter riders can pick it up. Even taller riders can pick it up. I have friends who are taller who has the bike. They love the bike. I have a friend who actually does decent amount of touring in the bike. So he lives in Kerala. He goes to, let's say, Bangalore or somewhere around South India. So that's a big thing. The bike being small, and he has raving reviews about the bike.
Yeah, I also think because it's the same engine, but on a lighter motorcycle, making it faster.
Makes sense.
More nimble. And because of the pricing, it is such a, sometimes when you are moving from commuter to lifestyle, you still don't want to take that bigger jump.
Exactly.
And because of the pricing, now it's like the best fit between a commuter and a lifestyle. So it's the best of both worlds. And that's why it's been doing so well, because it again ticks all boxes. If you want to ride it every day to work, it's perfect.
It is.
And if you want to take it for a slightly longer spin, it's great.
Exactly.
And it's affordable. It's also more made for the younger generation.
Exactly. That is where I was going to come.
And understand that the 30-year-olds or 35 or 40-year-olds now have a slight amount of money in their bank balances. So they wouldn't want to buy a entry-level motorcycle, and hence the 20-year-old who may not have that much money but still wants to live that lifestyle, the Hunter fits into that bracket.
That is true. For the 30 and 40-year-olds, they can maybe pick up the Classic or even the Twins.
That's what I'm saying.
650 is coming in, no? So that, yeah.
On that, let's talk about the Classic 650. What's happening on that front?
So I think, every month I feel like it'll come in this month, but again, from news, I think it's coming out this month properly.
Okay. Yeah. I hope they do.
But we talked about it. You said you've kept money aside for it. I hope you still have it, because
I've already paid booking to a dealer to say the first one should be mine.
Booking?
No, but I've paid him extra to say the first one is mine.
Great. Which color are you going with? The
teal.
You've sorted on the color.
Yeah.
Okay. Did they tell you a date or something?
No, it's not up for booking. They've just taken the money and they've parked it, and they said, okay, the first one will be.
But some insider, no, wait. But I think it's coming out in March.
I hope they do take it out in March.
I think it does, like how we talked about it before. It does the whole thing about how 350 and the 500 did. I hope it just revolutionized the whole market.
Yeah. It's It's good, yeah. But let's look at more motorcycles. What do you think is the next in line for the challenger for a class?
So since you talked about the speed single 400s, I want to talk about the newer Royal Enfield, the 450 Royal Enfields. I'm very bad with the names. Can you name the bike and the engine?
You want to call it Gorilla?
No, I want to call it the
But I want to say the Meteor is a better challenger for.
Yeah, let's talk
The
about
Meteor 350 is exactly the same stance, same engine,
Yes.
right? Same everything.
Except for stance, I think. Stance is a bit different.
Like I'm talking about the silhouette. The stance is slightly more comfortable, but the same silhouette to a classic. And but yeah, there's not much to talk about the Meteor. We all know Meteor is basically the classic with a slightly different,
Modern or the
slightly different seating position.
seating position. Exactly.
Nothing more than that.
True. Meteor, I think, is the, what do you call, successor of the Thunderbird, I guess?
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
It's slightly modern, a bit more expensive, different colors, but a good bike. I've ridden the bike. Again, that bike has a lot of character.
Yes. And now they've got a bit of retro colors also in there.
Correct. Is Domina still there? I am ignorant about it. But I remember it came out of the Big Bang.
Dominar is still there. They're struggling to sell it, but it's still there.
I think that was the first proper, easily accessible 400cc.
Yeah, and the build for touring, they marketed it as the touring. They also made that ad on that you should not buy an Enfield and buy Dominar, if you remember.
No.
They had an ad that said, "Na Hathi mat palo," and then they had these guys sitting on Hathis and going, and then there's that Dominar dudes riding.
Oh, I just thought that was an older ad. Okay. Yeah. Now I remember.
So that's a Dominar ad.
Okay.
It was actually released to fight against the classic.
Oh, but I don't know. I don't see that bike a lot now, but
Again, one of those bikes that came, did decently and failed.
But it's okay. It's a Bajaj bike, right? So they're selling Triumph, they're selling, let's say, KTM, everything. So I think Bajaj is happy. So all good. What other bikes are there?
Another competition for a classic is, and again, I don't think the bike did too well, but is the single cylinder Harley, the 440X.
What about that bike?
Yeah, the 440X.
I've heard good and bad things about the bike. So people who actually bought it loves the bike.
Everyone will buy. They will only buy the bike if you like it. No, you won't buy. I don't like the bike, but let me put my money on it.
Except that actually, I don't know. But again, yeah, that is true. So maybe that's why. So generally, a lot of people did not like the bike because of the way it looks, and it is slightly a chunky bike but less power. Like when you compare it to the Speed, which came out, I don't know, in that timeline.
Exactly.
It looks better, more power. I think maybe cheaper. I think, I don't know.
No, same price.
Almost the same price. So the Speed just went ahead and it just pushed out the 440X, right? So unfortunately that bike didn't work. Let's hope. I've heard Harley's again coming out, figuring out
With a night spur or something.
I've been hearing it. I don't know if it's true or not. But if anybody can pull it off, Hero Harley can pull it off. Oh, since we said Harley, Hero, the other bike is the Maverick, which is again the same engine.
Yeah, same engine that doesn't work and doesn't sell.
But I've heard it rides really well. Again, I've not ridden the bike, but people say it's actually a decent bike. But again, Hero has to build up their Hero branding for a 400cc.
No, but when we are looking at those, let's look at what's coming in. The most exciting thing that I think is coming is possibly, if they can do it, is the Honda Rebel.
Oh yeah, Honda Rebel, the 300 or the 500, right?
Yeah, whatever they come out with is...
Yeah. So I actually do think that will be a great bike. It is a slightly smaller bike. I wouldn't actually mind getting, if the 500s come in, and I don't know if it'll be a single or a double. Because previously it was supposed to be a double, but now I don't know if I genuinely don't know what it is. But the 500 actually looks great. The bike looks great. So I wouldn't actually mind getting one.
The Honda Rebel is one, and there are some talks of Triumph then building on their 400 platform.
The trucks.
And possibly a Cafe Racer Thruxton or whatever they build with it. Like they've already built the Scrambler, they've built the Speed. So I think what's left of their lineup is possibly a Thruxton, maybe a Bonneville on that lineup.
Bonneville
and maybe a Tiger at the end of the day.
Okay. So currently the Thruxton Spy Shots are in. So Yeah, I think that'll be a good lineup because cafe racers always a. I don't know. I love cafe racers. I mean, if you see, you can see cafe racers lined up. So yeah, I think that'll be a good addition. The Spice Shots doesn't look that great, but I hope they work on it. Make it really cool, like how
The Thruxton is supposed to look.
yeah, the Thuxton are like the OG bike looks great. So I hope they bring in those elements in and they bring it out.
I think they will, because if you look at the speed, it's exactly looks like a speed. Right? The Scrambler more or less resembles the Scrambler. So Thruxton will more or less resemble the
I hope so.
Thruxton that they no longer sell. And that'll be interesting. But again, I think my pick of the lot again is the CB350 RS or the GB350 as how they call it outside of the country.
That is true because they actually stuck to their roots. The bike slowly picked up because the bike had a lot of problems. I still think it has a lot of problems, but overall the bike is pretty good, and they've stuck around it. They've made improvements, and finally they've released it outside India, and it's in the UK, and we've discussed UK and Europe, and they've actually now the sales have picked up, so that is great. And I hope Honda actually works. Maybe bring in a something that again competes with the, let's say, the classic 650 or something. I don't know what their plans are. Let's hope they bring it.
What you can trust is when even Honda would also do very well is build a service network that's big, just like what an Enfield does, right? All the other competitions, maybe the service network is not as vast and as good as an Enfield, but Honda is possibly the only one that will have a competing level of service. Maybe a Hero, but of course those didn't do too well. But the Honda and the Bajaj are the guys who can do it.
Yeah. So Honda, because of the big wing thing, it's slightly behind. But again, compared to the last, let's say 4-5 years, when they've actually brought it up. So yeah, I think Honda is the biggest competition for Royal Enfield. Yeah.
Perfect. That wraps it up.
Yeah.
Right.
We talked about a lot of motorcycles.
Okay. So finally, but to wrap it up, while there are so many options to pick up as an alternative to the Classic, I still feel that silhouette or that vibe that motorcycle has, this still isn't a competition if you want to get something like that.
True. The true meaning of retro is still in Classic. Even though I like the Hondas, it does look like a modern bike. Slightly modern.
The only competition to a Classic is a Goan Classic.
Yeah, true. Because it is the Classic with the, bigger handlebar?
Yeah.
That is true. The Classic is truly a retro bike.
Perfect.
So the good news is there is a lot of alternatives for the Classic 350. So let us know which is your pick. See you in the next one.